Hello and welcome to Motorsport and Dream Cars. If you're in the market for a small, cheap, hot hatch, then this might be the car for you. This is a 2002 plate Renault Clio Sport. It's about £1,500. It's a fantastic small car, which is a lot of fun. It's got the traditional French hot hatch mentality. Small car at only around 1,200 kilos and a big engine up the front there. It's a 2 litre 16 valve, which produces, as the name suggests, 172 brake horsepower. Over the next sort of 10 minutes, I'm going to go out for a drive in the car, tell you the good bits, and obviously there are some bad bits as well. The way in which they keep the weight down on the car, I do believe it's for safety as well. Please just put a comment down below if this is the case. The wings here are all made of plastic. I'm sure that saves quite a bit of weight instead of being like what it is there, so that really does keep the weight down as well. One of the traits of being a hot hatch is a small car, big engine. Now that is great for performance, but it's definitely a negative when it comes to servicing. Now if we look under the bonnet here, you've got this 2 litre engine, fantastic, but when it comes to changing the cam belt, on the other hand, you just can't get to it. Most cars you can leave the engine in place, not a problem. Now with this car on the other hand, take it to Renault or any other dealer really, and you're looking at around 7 or 8 hours to change that. So you're looking at a good £700 to change the cam belt. Now the reason it takes so long is because I actually have to take either the engine out or unbolt it and lift one side. So that is the reason. The part itself is going to be about £150. But obviously work out the hourly rate of someone, then that's the reason it's so much. And it also does need doing. Because it's a variable valve engine, changes about 5,000 RPM, it really does need to be looked after. But other than that, general parts are pretty good. Another disadvantage with this car is headlights. They're absolutely brilliant showing where you're going, but the problem is they use xenon bulbs. The cost of a xenon bulb, I think, is around £70 to £75. I've been told that really if you replace one, you should replace both of them. So 2 headlight bulbs ends up costing around £150. The most important thing really about a car is how it drives. The Clio 172 is a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. It doesn't look massively different from the outside anyway to the standard Clios that are out there. You see many of those. They start, I think, at 1 litre, 1.2s, and obviously the diesels. But this one, on the other hand, is rather different under the bonnet. You've got a big 2 litre engine up front, fantastic, a really lightweight car, around 1,200 kilos. Although if you can stretch your budget slightly more and go for the Cup model, I think that's going to actually cost you another sort of 500, maybe 1,000 more. That stripped even more weight out. They put a bench seat in the back, got rid of the air conditioning, even the glass at the front they made thinner, you know, so they real attention to detail. But even so, this car is still pretty quick. It will go to 60 in around 7 seconds and top out at just over 140, which in my eyes is plenty. You obviously can go quicker. Plenty of today's hot hatches are faster, but you're looking at the likes of the new Civic Type R, the Focus RS, and things like that. But you are looking at a huge amount of money. Probably for the price of a set of wheels on the Civic, you can buy this car. So if we go back to looking at this car really, when this came out in 2000, there wasn't really a massive amount of competition, you know, for the car. Peugeot had sort of lost their way slightly with the hot hatches, still made some great cars, but weren't quite up there. Volkswagen, they were still making the Golf, but that was the Mark IV, I do believe, and that had got a bit heavy, a bit sort of lardy, and not really, you know, up there. The only main competition was the Honda Civic Type R, the EP3 model, and again that was probably another 1,000 more now anyway than the Clio was. So in that front it really was class leading. What can we say about this car? Well, the thing I really like, as I said, is the engine is great and it's lightweight. Where I am at the moment, it's a small country roads and it's absolutely brilliant for that. It's the sort of ideal stomping ground for a hot hatch really. It handles really well, turning is great, and because it's so light, that just helps with everything really. They say the weight of a car is everything, not necessarily just more power. And that I think is definitely true. From comfort point of view, it's not too bad. They've got these quite supportive bucket seats that are in here. I think the cut version came with slightly bigger Recaros. The suspension on this car is definitely firmer than the standard, but being a hot hatch, that's to be expected. It does improve handling and everything else that goes with that. But if you don't want a firmer ride and things, you probably wouldn't be looking at this car. So the gearbox in this, it's got a 5-speed manual. That's fine for roads such as we're on at the moment, or just generally getting around. But I have found, to be honest, on motorways or longer journeys, it can get a bit tiresome, and the fuel economy obviously is affected by that as well. I think the 182, which is the newer version of this, again you're looking at another 1,000, maybe 2,000 on top. Came with a 6-speed box, so that probably made a slight difference in that way. But these are minor things really, you know, for the money. £1,500 in a car that's going to do 60 in 7 seconds. Not sure what else really you're going to get for that. In terms of practicality, which, you know, is another thing to take into consideration if you do buy a hot hatch, you've still got the same size boot as the standard Clio. It's going to fit a week's worth of shopping. I've had 5 adults in here. It's a bit of a squeeze, to be honest, so only do that in emergencies, but yeah, you can do. I mean, 4 adults is absolutely fine. This car has a 2-litre 16-valve with variable valve timing. Now basically what that means is until 5,000 RPM the car is a bit more sedate. Hit 5,000 RPM and things get a bit more exciting. So if you really do want to get the best of the car, you do need to push it slightly harder, but I think that's part of the fun of owning something like this, or any hot hatch, is just being able to exploit the power slightly more. So at the moment, just in normal, you know, 2,000, 2,500 RPM. If you drop it down a cold on the other hand, and then you get a lot more go. So that is definitely an advantage of this car. It does put a smile on your face when you're driving it. So what's it like living with this car? Well, I use this car on a daily basis and it does everything I want to. Come out the weekend, it's great fun to have a drive around the countryside like I'm doing at the moment, so definitely great there. The only expensive thing really was I had to replace the key because there was a crack on the circuit board, which meant the engine would turn over but nothing would happen, so that was a bit of a pain. Tyres aren't that expensive really, you're only looking at £90 a corner. For £1,500, like I said, I'm not sure what else you could get for your money. So if you put your comments down below of what other cars you think you could get for your money, then that would be fantastic. It's always great to know what other people think. You know, anyone who's owned a Clio, you know, tell me what your experiences were. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comments down below, and remember to click on the subscribe. And thanks for watching.